Minister, I want to go back into your past. I understand that you are a former federal prosecutor and you worked for the Public Prosecution Service of Canada. Is that correct?
Yes.
And part of that prosecution responsibility included prosecuting individuals charged under the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act.
Yes.
And that would include individuals charged with trafficking of drugs or possession for the purposes of trafficking, as well as simple possession.
And production offenses as well, yes.
Exactly, production. And as a lawyer and as a prosecutor, you would also agree with me, I hope, that many of the individuals that you have prosecuted, many individuals I've prosecuted, have similar criminogenic factors that quite often include addictions, whether that be alcohol, whether that be drugs, whether that be mental health.
I would agree that in some of the cases that I dealt with, that there were individuals who had challenges around substance and mental health issues, yes.
Right. And a lot of the individuals that I saw, maybe that you didn't see, certainly had that as a predominant criminogenic factor, as well as lack of education, lack of supports, lack of housing, lack of a job, etc. So would you agree with me, sir, that it's crucially important that these individuals, after they're sentenced or after they're discharged, whatever the circumstance may be, that they get the help to lead a productive lifestyle?
Mr. Brock, I would go one step further than what your question suggests, and that is to say that where possible, we should be off-ramping those individuals from the criminal justice system at the earliest point in the system, because as you yourself underlined, in a lot of those cases, the determinants that have led to their intersection with the criminal justice system are based on a lack access to safe housing, affordable housing, education, health care, et cetera.
Yes.
So off-ramping them the earlier the better, so we can focus on violent offenders.
And you'd agree with me, though, that if we can't off-ramp and we have to sentence these individuals and place them on probation or send them to institutions, we want to ensure that there are supports either in the community or in our institutions to help them address those issues. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
Which really begs the question, and this is really ironic, that today my Conservative colleague, Tracy Gray, from the riding of Kelowna Lake Country, had a private member's bill introduced into the House with a vote, Bill C-283, which was an act to amend the Criminal Code and the Corrections and Conditional Release Act to provide additional addiction treatment in penitentiaries, specifically to allow judges to make recommendations after sentencing that the person serve their sentence in a penitentiary that has been designated as an addictions treatment facility. So, Minister, question to you. Question to Canadians who are following this committee. Why did you, as a minister who has a portfolio that includes correctional services, why did you and your entire Liberal caucus vote down that vote?
In short, because, well, for two reasons. One, we believe that there is already the discretion within the judiciary to make those orders. And I'm in no way dismissing the merit of them. I think it is right to point out that there should be conditions that foreshadow the ultimate release of individuals who may have mental health and substance challenges. And therefore, I have seen in my experience judges who fashion orders that foreshadow the kind of mental health and public health treatment that those offenders need to reintegrate. And two, because I would say that there are other initiatives which this government is investing in to promote the kind of reintegration for those individuals who may be suffering from those challenges as well.
You also took credit, I understand, Minister, for the federal framework to reduce recidivism. You mentioned that during one of your, either the opening statement or a response to a question. You will acknowledge on the record, sir, that my colleague, Conservative colleague, Richard Bragdon, his private member's bill, C-228, which was passed in law in 2021, did exactly that. Would you give him credit, sir?
Listen, I think we need to be working across partisan lines as much as possible. And look, there are private members' bills where the government has seen fit to support them, regardless of partisan stripe. I don't think any one individual or party, for that matter, has a monopoly on how we keep our community safe. One of the reasons why it's important for me to be here in front of this committee is to not only take questions, but to take advice, which then in turn may shape future government policy. And that includes on the matter of bail reform and bail system. And I would say that one of the things that I found most encouraging at the last federal, provincial, territorial was that there was a strong consensus that, yes, we should look at the bail system. And that was true no matter which government was sitting within which party. So there is a multi-partisan effort here to get this right.
Thank you, Mr. Brock.